I appreciate y'all coming today. We lost in a fashion you don't like to lose, but you come out of that game with some encouraging. Once you watch the video, you're encouraged by some of the plays and effort that you did see. You couldn't sleep the night before with worried about how Tyler Staling was going to play. And you come out of there, and he was 22 of 37 for 183 yards and rushed for 85. But we had 6 drops, or he could have had a magnificent night. We've got to eliminate those drops. Everybody's going to drop a couple, but you can't drop 6. And we had 7 foolish penalties offensively, 4 of them false starts. That's just about being disciplined and being focused. But I'm really, like I said, I saw a lot of good in that we can build on. Just, how Tyler played. He played with confidence. He led the offense. The offensive line did not give up a sack. That was another thing going in that we were a little worried about, just with the size of Western Kentucky's and athleticism, their defensive front, not to give up a sack. That was encouraging. And Tyler threw the ball to 9 different receivers. We couldn't get a running game established. We tried to work the perimeter, but we could never get our running game going. We rushed for, I believe it was 107, and Tyler had 85 of those yards. Defensively, we stopped the run well, held them to under 100 yards rushing, was 3.2 a carry, but we gave up way too many explosives. When they would max protect and throw the ball down the field, we were just getting too much separation from our defensive backs. But I think, that's some things we can, as coaches, put some checks in and do some things to help the guys out more, and we'll get that done. But the defense played extremely hard. Thought they tackled well in space for a first football game. Saw a lot of things we can build on defensively. And our special teams, our punter, Jack Fox, had a 45-yard net punting average on the day. He put 5 balls inside the 20. Had the 1 penalty on a kickoff, but I thought he kicked the ball really well. And as disappointed as we are in the loss, we are really encouraged. I think when you talk to the players, we'll get some things ironed out. We're going to be a good football team. I told you want to play up. We saw on some of our like kickoff coverage where we need to make some personnel adjustments, and guys we thought would really be great at it aren't. And so we'll have to change some of our special team personnel up that'll make us stronger there. We look forward to going and playing Army. They're a very Coach Monken is in his 3rd year. He's done a great job of, those guys are going to play hard the entire game. They're going to quit. We learned that last year, pulling off the win late. Their team speed this year is greater than it was last year. They've got a quarterback that's really playing well. They moved the linebacker to fullback, and he rushed for 120 last week against Temple. And defensively, they intercepted Temple 3 times. So they're exactly what you expect an Army team to be. Great effort, disciplined, flawless execution. And that's something that we've got to work on this week too, is having some flawless execution offensively and defensively.
Offensively, early on, you did get a little bit of a rhythm. And how tough is it to see those drops, those mental mistakes that you really, you can control? It's just these guys have to just kind of, is that a lack of focus? How do you?
I really think a lot of those drops were guys pressing. They were trying to play so hard, and they just need to play and have fun, and they don't need to be better than they are. And I think sometimes we were trying to look down the field to create a big play instead of securing the catch first. And I think they realized that when we watched video with them. We had some sure-handed players drop passes that, traditionally have not dropped. They've made those catches because they've been open. We just got to, when you start pressing, it's like getting in quicksand, and the harder you struggle to get out, the quicker you sink. And you go that room, sometimes they were playing the wideouts just where they were flustered, and they were, and then you'd see them try so hard and they'd blow an assignment. And they got to relax and do what they're coached to do, because they're athletic and they're going to make some big plays for Tyler this year. Zach Wright has been a magnificent leader for us, and he saw it, and he'll get everybody calmed down and moving in the right direction.
Coach, how
I think just after last season of going 5-7 and not going to a bowl game, that they wanted to perform so well in this first one that they all tried to do more than they're capable of at times, and they just got to relax and play and be who they are, and we're going to be fine. It's happened before and at every campus in the world, and you just got to keep playing and doing what you do, and they'll calm down. It was a new style for them of some of the tempo, and I think they were getting in such a hurry to try to get reset. We were losing some focus, and then we'd start pressing. But the great news was it wasn't an effort thing. It was we just got to learn to relax and play football like we did out here in the scrimmages. In the scrimmages we didn't have any false starts. We didn't have any holdings. You got officials at those too, and we just got to learn to relax and have fun, play football, an intense level of football, a disciplined level of football. And, these guys are here to win, and we'll get it worked out.
David, how do you work this week with working on the focus, getting players to fix their mistakes while also getting ready for Army that throws out that offense that you never see but that once a year?
Well, first off, we took 3 days in spring and worked it. We took 3 days and 2 days and worked it. So it does require extra time. And us playing Thursday, we'll be able to gain an extra day today. So we've put some extra time into it prior to this week. Had a good game plan made this summer. Had to change a little bit after watching the Temple film. A lot more unbalanced than they did a year ago. But it's one where you try to stay ahead. Because if you just have 3 days, it's not enough time. And Coach Monken understands that the intricacies of that offense, as well as anybody in the country, with all the different formations he presents you, it's no longer just the double slot. It's unbalanced. It's it's a little bit of, you're going to see a lot of different formations.
Talk about some of the defensive breakdowns against a team like Western Kentucky. They spread it out. They do all sorts of stuff. I don't know if litmus test is the word for your defense. How would you assess going up against a team like that is able to spread it out and throw it all over the place?
Well, when they got those big yardage plays, most of those were off of max protection, and we just couldn't puncture that line and get to the quarterback, and they got separation on the defensive backs off double moves. It's something where the D-line and the secondary's got to work together. It's just one of those, somebody's got to make a play. And we have to do a better job too, and we made some adjustments as coaches when they did that to try to give them some over-the-top help where it wasn't just where it looked like man coverage when they stretched us.
Some of the things that you saw in the game, how you're going to have to maybe approach, the kids differently, or what you're doing differently. Or?
I don't think so. I think Western Kentucky's a fine football team. That they had 5 starters back in the offensive line, 2 Bolitnikov on the Bolitnikov watch list. And they're good. And that quarterback that night, he could thread the needle. Those were as accurate of passes. You watch football yesterday and you see everybody overthrowing them and underthrowing them, and he was right on the money on everything he did. So he had an excellent day throwing the football. And and we, like I said, sometimes you just got to make a play. And that's what every team in America, somebody needs to puncture that and force the quarterback. And we got to do a better job of coaches when we see a formation that may go to a max protection of matching a call to what we may get.
Coach, could you kind of spoke to it a little bit, just talk about the drastic difference between what you saw at for you and now Army with your options on that?
Offensively, you're on the same schedule, that we always against the defense. Defensively, yesterday, or I'm getting confused on my days. Friday, we went ahead and introduced Army offense once again to our defense. So they spent a little time on the Western Kentucky film, and then we went straight to Army with them. Offense spent more time on the Western Kentucky defense, and so there is some changes in schedule, but you just have to take such a disciplined approach when you're playing the the wishbone team. I mean, it can't be you got to have a hat on the fullback. You got to make sure you have a hat on the quarterback. And then, they're running the triple option. Then all of a sudden it's the midline where, it's a totally different offensive play and scheme coming at you, and it's the same thing. Guys have to be disciplined. They have to read their keys, be it the slot arc in or the slot coming inside. That puts you in a different field distribution on the football field. And it takes great discipline, and it takes great energy, because you got to rely, too, on those backside safeties getting all the way across that field to help out, because sometimes they will get a numbers count on you no matter how hard you try to keep the numbers straight. When they start pulling guards and moving slots, and you got to get people from the backside all the way across.
Particularly playing the service academy, it's a little bit different challenge, I guess, than playing other teams. So kind of talk about that.
It is. You just look at what those young men are going to do. Not only are they playing Division I football, when they graduate, a lot of them get to go overseas. It's one where you respect everything that West Point stands for. You respect those young men for the decision that they've made of what they're going to do with their careers, post-graduation. And it's one where you want to go in and compete and be the very best and play a classy, hard football game, because that's what they're going to give you. They do it every time. Last year when we beat them at the end of the game, and we're playing the Rice School song, and all of a sudden you hear somebody holler attention, and you turn around and hear all the cadets standing at attention honoring your school song. I mean, that'll give you goosebumps and make you really proud of what they represent and proud to be an American. You have some bad news from the other night. Senior starting left offensive guard Connor Patterson has a leg injury, and he will miss the remainder of the season. So that is the bad news from the other night. But any other questions, men? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.